Hey everyone, James here. I just wanted to go live because I've been chatting with an amazing client today. And part of what I was speaking about with her was to do with how much abundance she has in her business, who it is that is providing for her and the provision that she's actually feeling in her business. And part of what we ended up speaking about was, you know what makes an amazing business is something that absolutely supports the rest of your life, something where you are provided for. And the business should be able to actually provide for you as much as you provide for the business. So instead of you just always feeling like you're putting into the business should be able to give you what you need, the time, the money to be able to take a holiday, take a break. G'day, I can see a couple of people on here live. And when the business is supporting you and your lifestyle, that's when you know you've got that deeply rewarding place with your business where it is just an integral part of your life, but it's fulfilling everything that you need. So let's have a quick look at the circles of provision and how you can move through these so that you can get to that place of having a business that does provide all those things that you need. And I want to just put this out here so you can see maybe where you might be at the moment. Obviously, it's not just 3, there's a bit of a continuum here, but hopefully my text will work. And I'll show you what it is that I'm talking about with the circles of provision, 3 circles of provision. Right at the very center of these circles of provision is what I call survival mode. Now, the thing with survival is that survival is not necessarily bad in this context. You know, survival means you are surviving. And when we're in survival mode, we often, we can say, oh, we're in survival mode, it feels really scary. But literally what I mean by that is some business people, when they very first start up, they're just doing enough work to survive. You know, they're getting things done, but it's just literally just enough to survive. And what I want to put out there is that when your business is in survival mode, who is it that is providing for the business? Where is the money, the attention, the energy for the business coming from? It's often coming from others. And by others, I mean not you. You know, you might be there waiting for clients to book themselves in. You might be there waiting for a referral. You're not doing a whole lot of proactive stuff, but you're just surviving because there's enough kind of going on maybe to be able to get those people coming into your business. So when we look at this, what is the main marketing activity that you're using or the main way that people are coming into the business? The main thing that you are doing is what I would simply call hope. Your hope marketing, if you're in survival mode. It means I hope more clients come in. I'm doing something and I hope it works. I'm just kind of crossing my fingers, doing something, the minimum that I can, and sort of hoping that it's going to be there. And when we're in that survival mode, hope is the way that we're kind of, doing our marketing. We're trying to get people in, or we're not doing much maybe, but we're hoping. And so the primary emotion that can be there in survival mode, unfortunately, is fear. Now that fear can just be stuff that is there from our past, things that our friends or our parents or whoever, doesn't really matter who, might have told us, it's hard to run a business. You're never going to make it. This is a really difficult thing to do. There's no money in massage, blah, 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 blah. All those little voices. Those things just produce fear in us, which stops us from being able to move forward sometimes, which means we continue to rely on others to be able to provide for the business and us. And the reason that circle is the smallest is because, sometimes we do get provision. Even the government, the government will give us financial support, that kind of stuff. It is provision, but it's small. It's not where we want to be. It's certainly not giving us the deeply rewarding business that we want to be able to get to. So the next level after survival mode, the next one that I want you to think about, hopefully there's a few more of you in this one, this is what we call overflow. Overflow is where you're running your business well enough that you've got enough money. You've got enough provision to be able to come in. It's working at this point. You're getting clients in, cash flow is flowing, you're paying your rent, you're paying yourself, you're buying petrol, food, supporting your family, doing all that kind of stuff. Ideally, when people are in full overflow, they've got enough money for everything that they need, and they literally have a bit extra. This is where you start being able to, buy a nice pair of shoes and go on a holiday and go out to a restaurant and buy the steak, without thinking about it too hard. Because you've got overflow, you've got enough money coming through and you've got the rest. And this, incidentally, when we look at who is providing for the business at this point, who is it that is producing the overflow? It is most often you. If you are really living in overflow in your business, it's because you have mastered how to do marketing, how to fulfill the services for your clients, how to make them feel good, how to rebook, how to work the levers of business. in a way that you have more control and influence and responsibility to make that business work. And at this point, the primary marketing, instead of hope, which we had at the start, hope but not much action, what we have now is what I would call manual. Manual marketing, meaning that, yeah, clients are coming in, but you're doing it. You're the one who's getting out there networking, or maybe you're the one putting Facebook ads up. Maybe you're the one rebooking clients, connecting with other people. It's primarily up to you. Now, if you truly are in overflow, you know how to do it at this point, right? But it's still you taking action. It's very manual and it's you focused. And if we think about what's the primary kind of feeling or emotion that's going on here, often it is busy. You know, it's like, not necessarily bad, I'm just busy. You know, how are you? Busy. Yeah, how's life at the moment? Busy. And busy can feel good for a little while. You know, we're living in overflow. At least I'm getting paid for what I'm doing right now. But if you're busy all the time, that can lead to burnout. It can lead to starting to feel resentful of more clients coming in. And the minute you feel resentful of getting clients, the business is not providing what you need. It's not rewarding at that point. It's not fulfilling. Now, there's nothing wrong. If you are living in overflow and loving it, there's nothing wrong with staying busy and staying at that point. In fact, quite a lot of massage therapists live in overflow. They don't need to take it further. They don't really want to. But what we have is, and this is something that Leash often talks about, is we have this circle, this outer circle, this sort of line here is really what you might call the good enough line. It's just good enough. You know, it's like, yep, everything is kind of going okay, but it's good enough. And maybe after a while, I don't want to just be good enough. I don't want to just keep being busy and seeing clients and just continuing to kind of live that same old life. You know, some people might love that forever. Nothing wrong with that at all. But at some point, some people will be like, you know, I'm sick of just it being good enough. I want it to be even better. So what is in this outside ring and how do we get there? Very good questions. The first thing I'm going to do is name it. I'm going to call this one multiplication. Because instead of just being enough, maybe just, or not even enough, but we're in survival mode, you know, we're just scraping by, we're getting support from lots of other people. That's the inner one here. And instead of just being overflow, where you're in control of what's going on and you're responsible for it and you're making it happen, but it's all just you. This one, multiplication, we start seeing even more income and wealth and provision, time, resources, energy, all of that beyond what you are just creating. It's multiplying. You're getting back more than what you're putting in right now in that outside circle. How do you make that happen? Well, if you think about here in the inner circle, it's mostly others that are providing for the business. Here, it's mostly you that's creating that provision. Well, in the outside circle, what we've got to think about is it's now assets. It's other things. And I'll talk about those assets in a sec. But that is what is providing for the business right now. It's not just you. It can still be you as well, of course. You can be an asset to your own business, and you are. But if you're going to get multiplication, you're going to have other assets that are there providing wealth, providing provision, literally, for that. And what are we doing for marketing at that point? How are we getting past that good enough line and into this kind of multiplication territory? I'll grab the right text here. I'll write this in green. What we're doing is we're using strategy or strategic systems. And at the point of multiplication, it means you're not having to do everything so much manually anymore. You've got some systems in place. You've got a way of things happening without you literally being the hands-on keyboard out there with the bullhorn, whatever it is. You don't need to do it all. You've got strategy, you've got systems. Things are falling into place. You kind of know what's going to work and you're making those things work in advance. And what we want is the overwhelming feeling at this point. How does it feel to be in multiplication? Hopefully, it feels fulfilling. We want you to feel fulfilled. Fulfilled is how you feel when you are able to live in your zone of genius. You are supported by the business and by the people you've got around you. And you are just doing what you love best and still reaping those rewards for it. You're able to live in that place of having so much abundance and energy and flow and like cash. Literally, that can be part of it. Having the financial resources to make sure it works. And by the way, if you think about this one here being supported by others, it's usually people in overflow or multiplication who are giving those people that support, right? It's like you have to be in overflow at least, maybe multiplication, to be able to support the people around you that are in survival. So it becomes part of the imperative, part of the responsibility of being out in that place is to be abundant, not just gain abundance, but to be abundant, to be able to support the other people that are going through that as well. Now, I want you to think about if you are in survival right now and you're like, oh, James, I so relate to that. I'm fearful. I only get a handful of clients or not even that a week. I can't pay my rent sometimes. Oh, it's so tough. What I want you to do is think about how can you step up? How can you take responsibility for what it is that you want to create in your business? And that is how you will move from this line. You'll go from others to you. And the way you do that is by taking hope to manual. You start doing marketing. You start doing stuff to make it happen, right? To move from relying on others to relying on you and getting overflow, you need to step up, literally take responsibility and start doing marketing, start doing stuff to make it happen, as well as all the other business bits and pieces. To move from that to the next step, if you're like, James, I'm already there, but I'm sick of just being good enough. I want to move to this next level of multiplication. You need to start creating assets, gathering assets, building assets, getting assets. And to do that, part of what you'll need to do is move from doing everything manually to having strategic systems for marketing and for the rest of your business. Now, what do I mean by assets? I know someone is going to ask me this, but assets when you're growing a business can look like a whole lot of things. First off, you can have business assets, and they fall into three main types of assets. Number one is what you would call knowledge assets or intellectual assets. Now, you might know a whole lot of stuff up here from your training, from your experiences, heaps of things you've done, but until you get them out of your head, it's not an asset to the business. It's just an internal asset for you. It's great at this level, but to move out to multiplication, you've got to create that into an asset that other people can use, that can actually benefit the whole business. Now, part of that is just like really simple and kind of boring stuff like systems and procedures. A procedure manual is actually an asset because someone else can come in and use it. You can sell it with the business to someone and they can just step in and do the things. So you've taken your knowledge and you've created an asset out of it. But often what we think about as knowledge assets are things like you might, I don't know, some people might write a book or create a course or a workshop where you can get people in there and use your knowledge to actually help people. That's an asset. You're turning your knowledge into something that can produce income by itself. So that's a cool kind of asset, a knowledge asset. Another one is a physical asset. So if you've got a clinic space, even if you're renting it, it's still an asset to your business. You can use that space to enhance what you do, to create money, to create more provision for your business. That's a type of physical asset. You can also have physical assets that are things like maybe you actually have bought the property that you work from or other properties, investments. Inside or outside the business, investments are assets. You invest in shares, you invest in property, it gives you more money over time, right? That's an asset. And the last type of assets, so we've got knowledge assets, we've got physical assets. The last type of asset is people. So you can get people assets. You can hire someone, what a great asset. They work, they help more clients, you create a bigger impact, you get paid more for your employment of them. That's a great asset. You can also just get people to help you do other stuff. You can get someone to help you with your laundry, someone to help you do your bookkeeping. All of those people, when you find the right person, they're a real asset because they help you to expand the business, to be able to not be using all your time doing everything, to remove yourself out of that manual work and into creating multiplication. So the three types of assets, knowledge assets, physical assets, and people assets. And if you want to move from here to here, that's the process that you need to go through. Now, obviously, I'm a business coach, specifically for massage therapists and body workers, related people like that. And so the work we do is often around money. We often help people move through these levels of provision. And so we do a heap of work with people, probably just like you if you're watching this, around helping people move from that inner circle to the outer or to the middle one, and some people from that middle one to the outer one. And we've got some amazing testimonials. I'm sure you would have seen them around if you've been in this group for a little while and seen some of the other people that have worked through this process. And I guess what I wanted to do is just put this out there and say, if you're looking at this and you're like, I'm in one of these two inner circles and I'm just sick of it. I just want to move past this, James. I just want to get out of survival mode, out of having a small business that doesn't really provide what I need, into overflow. Or maybe you've been in overflow and you're like, I love it. I have loved it in the past, but I'm ready. It's good enough is not good enough anymore. I want to move to the next step. I want to grow. I want to create some assets bigger business so I can be more fulfilled and have that deeply rewarding business that supports everything I want to do with my life, not just in it all the time, not just me giving to the business all the time, but the business supporting me sometimes. Wouldn't that be great? Take a week off and the business can still be supporting you during that time. So if you're interested in that, I would love to be able to talk you through the process that we go through to help people do this. We have a very specific process. I can literally just send you a worksheet that's got the process in it, and I'm happy to speak with you about how that can work as well. And I love getting on the phone with people. I can see a couple of people here right now. Fee, Ree, we've worked with you guys or are working with you right now. And that's absolutely amazing. I'd love it if anybody who's watching this, whether we've worked with you in the past or not, if you're ready to move forward, just give us a message. I can send you the worksheet. I can have a chat with you about it if you're interested. And if it seems right, of course, there's a big if there, but if it seems like it would work, we can talk about how we could actually work together. But that's up to you. It all starts with just getting a little bit more information and having a look at what it is that the process itself is. Can't wait to chat with some of you guys. I trust you found this useful. Even if you're not following up, absolutely fine. I trust you've been able to see where you are right now and how where you are can lead to the next step if you choose it to. Thanks everyone, and we'll see you soon. Bye.